Let's get this going.
Messa fuori, c'è Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro,
The referee should never have given the second, the straight red. Roma is missing the wing that they had last year.
Well, Salah. If you don't beat Crotone like this, it's mental.
Wow.
I don't know who he is.
He looks like Nainggolan.
Oh my! He does not look like Nainggolan. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV. Everybody's smiling except me today.
Why?
Well, you're the only one that was right.
I was the only one that was right. I had a feeling that this was going to happen at the end of the day. Man, listen, as upset as I am right now as a Juventus fan, as mad as I am, as much as I want to curse everybody out right now, especially Michael, who's at a baptism, but that didn't stop him from live texting me the entire time, which I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. I got to give credit to Napoli. Like, they deserve to win today. They played the match that Juventus needed to play. Juventus were sitting back and relaxed. I can't. The Campionato is so interesting. And listen, both of you guys who came in here 4 weeks ago, it's over, 8 points. What do you guys say now?
Well, first of all, welcome to the best championship in all of Europe. And then I have to congratulate you, which you're not going to be happy, but you were right. It's going to go down to the end. So as far as that's concerned, good job by you.
I don't know.
I don't like that compliment.
I
don't like that compliment.
I know you're happy. This.
Oh
you're
yeah,
happy
I'm happy. I'm excited. And besides being, Inter fan, Juventus fan, Milan fan, it's great for Serie A.
Oh yeah.
It's something that we haven't seen in about, I would say, a good 8 years, where there's gonna be a championship that goes down to the wire. Unfortunately, the last time what I can remember is when Inter was in against Lazio and we lost the Scudetto on the last day with Ronaldo crying. That's still vivid images. I mean, but Napoli had to play this game to win, and they pulled it off. They deserved it, and that's why I have.
Explain
this
your
shirt
outfit.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Tell them.
Well, I'm an Inter fan, no matter what. But my mom is from Napoli. This is my helmet that I wear around New York, Brooklyn. I work in the city, so sometimes I go in the Vespa, and people see me with the Inter helmet.
If I see you, I'll put you under my car. Now that I know that's your helmet, I'll put you under my car.
That's if you could catch me.
Oh.
Because Milan seems a little behind right
But
now.
you're wearing a Napoli
I'm wearing
sweater.
a Napoli sweater right now because they deserve it. They played their game today, and within 1 week, 6-point swing.
Oh boy!
Go with you. That you're gonna go crazy right now.
I didn't predict Napoli winning, but I was hoping for Napoli to win. I said, okay, this is gonna be a tie or Juventus win 2-1. That's what I said the last.
You said it.
Last podcast. But I'm so happy that Napoli won. It was the first thing that I checked after I finished my game in Flushing, and I said, what happened? So 1-0 at what? The game is over. It's like a novantesimo, somebody told me. I said, wow, that's great news. And before the game, I called our friend Gino, and I asked him, I said, Gino, what do you think what's your take about the game? He says, Napoli vince il Napoli oggi. And he was right. I'm sure if I call him up right now, and they must be still fighting some of those firecracks that he showed me in the video.
Yeah, the Napoli fans over there, nothing's going to get done tomorrow
The
morning.
only disappointment was my AC Milan that he came flat.
Let's finish with Juventus first.
Juventus, okay, sorry about that. So
We'll get to your...
What about you saying Campionato's over? You're
No,
wrong.
What happened?
It's not over.
So now Juventus is going to play Inter next week, right?
In Milan.
In Milan? Okay, I don't know. Spalletti, look, this is the thing about Spalletti that I hate the most. Even if the guy wins the World Cup, he will never smile. The guy is so obnoxious. I can't stand him.
He doesn't have to smile. As long as
Why
he wins,
doesn't have to smile? The guy is a
gotta win.
phony. That guy is a phony. I can't stand him.
All right. What are you going to say? Wait, first, let me give credit. Well, Michael, besides changing his story 18 times this season, he started off Juventus winning the league, then Napoli winning the league, then 2 weeks ago, the Campionato's over. Listen, he did say that Napoli were going to win. He told me even before, he's like, listen, Napoli's going to win today. They're going to show him. And I said I wouldn't be crazy surprised if Napoli would win just because they're motivated and they've got this crazy fire in their eyes, which I think we saw. And Sarri's an incredible coach. But also because Juventus were so bad tonight. It's one of the worst games I've seen in the past 7 years of domination. This is one of the worst games I've ever seen. In the match where everyone says Juventus come out and even if they don't play good, they always come through in the big games. Every one of us in April and in May, Juventus are not going to play good, but they're going to get those points. Every single time we've said that, every single one of us were wrong. Tonight, Napoli looked like the Juventus. Napoli looked like the Juventus of the past 6 seasons, where they were hungry to win. Juventus did not go on the field tonight to win the match. They were arrogant, they were ignorant, they were lazy, and they did not try to win the match. Every single player, besides your favorite Buffon, was absolutely terrible. Allegri was wrong. The management was wrong. The players were wrong. This is a whole unit of bad things that happened on a night where things could not go wrong. They screwed up against SPAL. They screwed up against Crotone. You know, we said, oh, look, it happens, this and that. Napoli came out to win, and Napoli deserved to win. And as much as it hurts me to say this, honestly, Napoli deserved to win the Scudetto at this point. It's still a lot of games to go, and I think we're going to have one up, one more down. But the way Napoli just did this, you go to Torino and you beat Juventus, the winners, everything that they're doing.
But let's congratulations to Napoli because they played well, a great game. They pressed Juventus high, and Juventus could not come out of the area. They just, they struggled to come out of the area. And Napoli came out of the area all the time, and they were moving the ball pretty good. Now, a lot of the players, you say Allegri. Okay, Allegri doesn't go on the field, though.
He sets up the field.
And
the attitude.
Dybala.
No, terrible.
Terrible. Dybala,
Did he start the game?
He started the game.
He came out 45th
they
minute.
changed on the second half. Now, Dybala struggles. I think he was struggling, Allegri, to whether to make him play or not to make him play. If you play the 4-2-3-1, then you have a position for Dybala. If you play the 4-3-3, Dybala, I think he doesn't know where to put him. The game did not start too good. Chiellini was out after a few minutes. He got hurt, so he made some changes there. Pjanic had a terrible game. Khedira, I never saw him so bad. Pjanic was having cramps. I mean, a lot of the players did not perform.
100%.
So
but they also were not set out to perform.
The thing about Allegri is that I think he played this game not to lose. And when you play not to lose, you end up losing.
Wow. I agree with that.
I think, Now, a few things that Allegri said after the game.
Which was crazy.
He said that it's the 7th championship. They're still in first place. So they play 57 games in a year. So, mentally, it could be that they're tired. The other teams in December, they stop playing. That's only, they've been there before. They've done that before. You played a terrible game tonight. Just accepted that the team did not perform. And, you need to move on.
A lot of people were losing their minds over what Allegri said since we're talking about that. After the match, like he said, he went off in his press conference. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'll show you after. But anyway, he said that Juventus played 50. He got pissed off at a journalist. He had his cool. And then all of a sudden, a journalist was like, but you guys lack quality tonight. He said, we play 57 games every single season for 4 years in a row. He said every other team, and this is where everybody gets pissed, goes out in November or December. He goes, but Juventus, he's like, they all get knocked out of their competitions. He's like, until a week ago, we were in the Champions League. He's like, so what more do you want? We're still a point ahead. He went off and said all this stuff. So Roma fans were going crazy. Napoli fans were going crazy. Everybody was going crazy after this match. I think that some merit is to Allegri because he's right. They do play 57 games. But also, Juventus spend a lot of money so that they're able to play 57 games a season, not as much as everybody else. So while it is an excuse, it's not an excuse.
Also, I don't think he's really used to the pressure because in the past years, Juventus always had that nice cushion.
7-8 points.
No, we were 16 points behind. What was it? Last season, 2 seasons ago.
But early on.
Not even at the end. Roma, we were 4 points with Roma. Not at this point. Juventus have been here. Milan, the first. I mean, that wasn't Allegri, right? But still.
The difference is Juventus has 3 teams practically. They have a lot of depth. So to say that, we play 57 games, but you're lucky enough that you can take Dybala out for 3 or 4 games, and you have Douglas Costa that can come in, or Bernardeschi, or he has so many options
it's
to
not
really
an
put.
excuse.
So, I mean, this game, he could have mixed up some players, could have put in some fresh legs, even the game versus Crotone, because you're playing that midweek game. You could have tried to try something different, but
I think a lot of this has to do with momentum. Look what happened with AC
yeah.
Milan. AC Milan played a great game against Juventus, and then they came out flat against Benevento, the last one on the standing. I mean, hey, you know when you play Juventus and you just or Napoli, we played Napoli. When we played Napoli, we actually dominated the game almost on that game, and then you play with the last into the standing. The people they thought that they were already superstars, and Gattuso warned them before and said, "Listen, this is a game that is a lot more important than the tie that we had with Juventus. This is a game we must deliver on the floor." I guess 2-3 people didn't start, but that's not an excuse. AC Milan is AC Milan. Even the Primavera with AC Milan should have won with Benevento. We needed those 3 points. Man, we just didn't put it on the floor. And then Gattuso was right being upset. Yeah. And everybody else was upset. So, as I do with the momentum. No, to finish up, I wanted to say, the momentum now swung into the Napoli stand over here. Now, if Napoli makes the same mistake that AC Milan made last week, or yesterday, they're risking to to fall flat again, because Juventus, let's not forget, is still 1 point on top.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point, because a lot of the teams, for example, Inter, when they tied in Juventus and Torino versus Juventus 0-0, from there,
it went down,
drop,
right?
Milan also, they played Juventus, they lost that game, and then it kind of went down.
True.
So it's a risk now, because Napoli has a tough game coming up. A lot of
Fiorentina
people will say,
next
"Oh,
week.
Juventus has a tough."
Juventus has a much tougher schedule.
Yes,
even
but
though every game's
tomorrow-
tough.
On the paper, everything is tough.
It's all about pressure. I think he has a good point, because I think this week, once Napoli saw that Crotone tied, I think it gave them that extra confidence to say, "Listen, they're a beatable team, or they're a team that they have some weaknesses. It's not like the past years.
Anyway,
this is our time."
Napoli has to be very careful, and Sarri has a very difficult job. These guys are jumping into the fountains in Naples, and they are
fireworks.
They got
dangerous.
fireworks
That's
going. They haven't won anything, and it's like,
Oh, boy.
this
There's
is
a risk
It's like
of
like they
risking.
won.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got to keep everybody. I think it's best if he takes the team out of Napoli and go practice someplace else.
They said they're landing now as we film. There's 5,000 Napoli fans showing up to the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. I think that's a good point. That's what is literally what I've been saying the whole season. They're so flip-flop. Against Chievo, in 5 minutes, they were booing the team. They were screaming at their team. You got to have calmness in this
Yeah,
sport.
but Napoli is that type of city that it's just crazy.
Yeah,
No, I'm not blaming them for that.
It's full of emotions. You
I
know,
think-
like Pino Daniele's song, right? Napoli mille emozioni, or
Yeah.
mille colore. That's, there's 1,000 colors, 1,000 emotions. They feel everything. They wear their
heart on their
sleeve.
sleeve.
I love that. But, he's right that you're also playing football where, the emotions can get to you and certain things. But tonight, I'm telling you, the emotions won the match for Napoli. I've never have seen Napoli play so good in a match. I was extremely impressed with Mertens wasn't that good at first, but even the way that Sarri was changing the team up, right? There was an important moment in this match where he took out Mertens and he put in Milik. And if you see everybody who's a coach nowadays, why are you taking out a striker for a striker? Why don't you take out Hamsik? Why don't you take out Alan? Why don't you take out Jorginho? And Sarri was incredible, very smart with the substitutions that he made that changed the match. They really did. And Sarri deserves so much credit for going to Torino and to doing that. And Koulibaly in the 90th minute to continue to believe this is a team that is absolutely infuriated with emotion and heart and belief, and they deserve the credit.
But I want to say something that Napoli had nothing to lose.
They
So
had to.
when you have nothing to lose, it's a little bit different.
But
it's
even
like
though he had-
Juventus playing against Real Madrid. You got to score 3 goals. They did score 3 goals because they had nothing to lose. So they went there and they were all out.
But he didn't just throw another striker on. He was smart with it.
Will we be saying the same thing if it was a 0-0 draw?
Nope. But he got the win, so that's why he gets the credit.
Marco,
At the end, the results justify
was
what
the
you
header
do.
savable? Was I
No.
because I
No,
saw it was right in the middle?
no.
Even if it was in the
Forget
middle, it's too hard.
It was like a
You
shot.
can't.
It was.
It was
Too
like
hard.
Menati, I don't know who the hell he's marking. He's crawling on the floor
But
over
so
there.
remember that it's different when you're playing and you're on top and it's 0-0.
But for that
and
same argument, he was getting criticized. He says, you have nothing to lose. Why are you taking out a striker for a striker? Why aren't you taking out a midfielder to go forward? But sometimes when you put so many strikers, it's not the smartest decision.
No, yeah.
Koulibaly is the one who scores it.
No, the other his option. That's his option. His option is now you put Milik, you go and you're trying to go up in the air like the crosses that they made, and they were able to score on a set play. The other thing that that Allegri said, he goes, the last minute of the game, it has cost them a lot against Real Madrid and against Napoli. Just 1 minute, and I think we would have been talking different if the game was 0-0.
100% we would.
Yeah.
But normally, Juventus is the team that capitalize on
That's what
the
I'm
last,
saying.
on the last minutes, and they score
Yeah.
the winners, and they take the 3 points home. But this time, I guess it was another day, was another lucky day. So thank God.
And it's
Because,
not luck. It's not luck.
No,
'cause
it's
Napoli
nothing
was.
to do
It's
about
not
it.
luck.
Napoli, I
It's
said
not
it
luck.
from the beginning.
deserved
Napoli
it.
played very well.
I just think
They deserved the game.
if they don't score that goal, I think there will be a lot more critics of Sarri because
For sure.
the 0-0 doesn't do you any justice. You don't make the extra sub to add another striker, add a sub. Even though I'm not, I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of putting on a striker just to put him in because then it changes the whole style of play, especially in that midfield where they
Listen,
try to move the ball.
Like we
They're not
said
a
in the past, he plays. Those are his 13, 14
Yeah. Oh
players.
yeah, he made the
That's
same
the
subs that he
only
makes
two.
every
all the time.
every
He
single
stuck to his
sub.
guns.
I'm sick out for Zielinski.
Zelensky comes in every game
His stubbornness won them the match.
for I'm sick and now Mertens and Milik.
I'm honestly I'm happy for Napoli in the way that they're still emotionally and mentally staying in the game because I feel like Napoli has always been a team which last year and this year the difference is that mentally they believe they have this belief that even in the 90th minute in Torino at the Juventus Stadium with everyone cheering against them that listen guys we could still score and win this match either way nothing changes for me nothing has changed in the slightest. If Juventus won, I still would have come on here and said the Campionato is not won. If they tied, the Campionato is not won. Today, Campionato is not won. It is. I would be scared either way because 4 games or 5 games? 4 games.
4 games left.
4 games left.
4 games left. You do not know who's gonna slip, and we'll move on in just a minute. But there nothing is won. Everybody keeps texting us. Juve fans keep messaging us. Guys, did we just lose it? Napoli fans, guys, did we just win it? Nobody won. Nobody won. Emotionally, maybe you think that you did, but just next week you're gonna play against a Crotone, and it's like, what happened?
I think Inter is going to come big next
One-
week.
one last thing about-
No, I mean, Juventus is going to come
think
big
so?
next week against Inter because
One last thing about the
yeah.
game, one stat. Since Juventus has played at the Juventus Stadium, this is the first time they never took a shot at goal.
We had a shot at goal.
No, there was no shot at
Pjanic
goal.
hit the cross, hit the
well,
post.
Doesn't
Yeah,
count as
but
a shot on
it was
goal.
on a
It's
deflection.
a shot on goal.
No,
No, it was deflected.
yeah.
It was deflected by somebody and it hit the
when
post.
it hits
boy.
the post, it's not a shot on goal.
So there was
Well,
not.
come on, it's a
okay,
shot.
but that was a
shot.
commentator said
A shot
as
goal.
a statistic, they did not take a shot at goal.
They didn't
That's what
take
they
it, or
said.
didn't Napoli didn't let them.
It's not
take
a
the
shot on target. Maybe they say
Not on
target,
target.
but it's a shot on the goal. I mean, whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. One thing you guys might not have seen Insigne after the match, in the mix zone, there was this post from some journalist that said, the journalist said, Juve said they were going to play this game like a Champions League final, and look, they lost. And Insigne said, yeah, they should be used to that. So,
Oh, that's a nice thinker.
I'm not gonna. It was funny. I laughed. Listen, he's got some reason to be saying that. I want to give with all this credit to Buffon, and also before the match, it was that whole Sadi thing. Did you guys see he gave the finger to some Juve fans?
Yeah,
Yes, I saw that.
Boom.
From
Sadi?
Sadi gave
Oh.
it. But
from inside
in the
the
bus.
bus.
after the match, they asked him to clarify, and he said that these people were, I think they were giving him the finger, and they were saying demeaning things about people from Napoli. I don't know if it's true, but anyway, that was what he said. He's like, I would never do that to someone who just supports the other team. And also credit to Buffon, who with all this shit that he's been getting recently, he's the only player to, after the match, go over to Napoli, shake every single one of the players' hands, give them respect. This is a man with a lot of respect. And every fan, every Juventus fan, you know what the first thing that everyone does? They go and they hate on Napoli. They go and they hate on everyone else. Look at this. The captain of a team who's more of a fan than every single person out there that goes and hates on you, he's able to congratulate the team when you won. Take a lesson from him. When a team wins, you could give them respect. It's not like there's no refereeing mistake. There's no controversy. Napoli were the better team and they won. There's no need to make.
Disagree with me.
Of course you do.
Well,
of course you do.
Why.
Let me ask you something.
It's like Derek Jeter taking the victory lap when his last year playing at Yankee Stadium.
I don't know what that means.
He's trying to play nice. He's playing nice because he knows his last 3-4 games playing for Juventus.
Buffon's a
He's
class
been doing this
act.
for 20 years.
But he never did that all. This
Every
openly.
single game he does
Not
this.
it- no,
Every
no,
single
no,
game.
no.
The one against Real
When he
Madrid's
plays
the only
versus
thing.
Milan, he was the first to go to Donnarumma that he knows that's his hair. He would go talk to him.
He's always like this.
He's a
Aldo.
class.
Wait, let me
class
ask.
act.
Let
You
me.
can't say
No. This
anything.
brought it up. So now I wanted to say, did Gattuso inspire Napoli to come back today?
No, I don't think I have anything
No,
to do
no.
with
Today
that.
doesn't have to do with it.
But I'm sure Gattuso is happy for Napoli. Anche se non è napoletano.
Gattuso is busy enough
I know,
motivating
I know.
the AC Milan. But
Yeah,
let me
he's got
say,
enough problem of
let
his
me
own.
say something
Go.
about Buffon, because I was with Buffon for about 10 days, and I saw him every day. The guy is a gentleman, is respect for everyone. He's the one that after every practice, he stayed behind, he signed all the kids' autographs. I mean, the guy is a gentleman everywhere. He went off at the end of Real Madrid game. He went off, and he said things that he shouldn't have said.
Should have said.
Huh?
He should have said.
No,
He was right in saying those things.
Well, some
He
of
was.
some of the words that I think were not appropriate. I would have been better if the next day, I would have said,
Calm
listen,
down.
I apologize for what I said. I think it would have been. Listen, inside the field, he had all the right to be as upset that he was, but the words that he used after the game, he could have changed them a little bit.
No one's perfect at the end
I
of
think
the
in
day.
the heat of the moment.
Yeah, in the heat of the moment, it's that happens.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the next day.
Yeah.
The next day he could
He
have come
could
back,
have
but the man is a class act, is a gentleman, is one of the most respected players, not only in Italy but all over the
Worldwide.
world.
Gaetano, can I ask you something?
Signore
Or
del
Peter too?
calcio.
Go.
Do you think that this is the end of a cycle for Juventus with Buffon leaving? I think this whole thing needs to be rebuilt from
Man, can I
from
tell you
scratch.
how crazy this is? Last week you were saying the Campionato's done. Juventus won the 7th.
Oh no!
Today is at the end of the
Juventus
cycle.
for me still has a greater chance than Napoli to win the Campionato, regardless.
What's the
of,
percentage?
I would say 80% Juventus.
80%.
Yeah.
Jesus
80%.
80%.
Yeah, Napoli. They're still 1 point behind, and they still have the pressure to win.
But Juventus
every
has
game.
to play in Milan versus
So
Inter.
And
what?
Roma.
In Rome against Roma. Both teams that are looking for Champions League spot. This
And Napoli, who's he gonna play with? It doesn't have any other easy game.
Fiorentina, the next
is a
game.
tough game.
Right.
I don't know
I'll
the
check who
full,
else they have.
Let him check. But I know Fiorentina.
Torino, Sampdoria, Crotone. Listen, Crotone last game is
Crotone is the tough. I think Sampdoria already.
No,
they
Torino's
haven't
an
folded
easy
anything.
one.
I see
Torino, they
Sampdoria
don't have
with
any
their folder
ambitions.
with Lazio today was
Yeah,
just a disgrace.
exactly.
But anyway,
All right.
No, yeah, they have Napoli has an
nothing is
easy
easy.
schedule.
Nothing.
They do have an easy
You
schedule.
think easier on the paper?
Much
Easier on the paper.
Yeah, but on paper and if you just
Look,
logically
AC
think
Milan.
about
AC
it.
Milan was supposed to have an easy schedule game yesterday. And
But
wound
that's
up
AC
losing
Milan.
against
We're
them.
talking about AC Milan.
What are you talking about?
That's Napoli.
You'll be so lucky.
So lucky
to
for
be
what?
shining the shoes of AC Milan players.
Let's go. Can we go to Milan? Let's go to Milan.
No, but before
Go.
Because you had mentioned it, last week that Gattuso was the motivator for Roma and for the other teams
I didn't
to
say
win.
that. I said Cassano.
No, and you said Gattuso.
Gattuso.
It went viral.
Gattuso has to motivate his own players before he can motivate the other ones. What happened to AC Milan? I mean, that was a disgrace.
I was a disgrace, but I gotta tell you something. Let me finish now. You just put a buzz on my head. Now I'm gonna respond to you. Gattuso is gonna use the loss.
Well, it's funny.
Gattuso is gonna use the loss against Benevento just to be an extra motivation for their player, never to downplay any team that on the paper is.
He already
It
had
wouldn't
this
have
against
Tyler-
Benevento. His first ever game was Brignoli header.
Listen.
Out of 6 possible points, Benevento picked up 4 points. If they played Milan every season, they would be campionato. They'd be the winners.
Listen, aside from the loss,
Come on,
AC
don't say that.
Aside from the loss, AC Milan did not deserve to lose. They
What?
They didn't do
tried
anything
22
special.
times. They hit the post. They did the best they could. They just came flat for the first 20 minutes, and they got punished. Okay?
But then they had
The
another
first 20
70 minutes to come up, and they
Well,
couldn't.
they didn't.
All
They
the players,
didn't.
Benevento deserved it.
The ball is round. That's what we say in
Okay.
in Italy. La palla è rotonda.
Okay.
So for AC Milan, they didn't want to go in. Okay? They tried. They tried a lot.
I agree.
Sportiello
the
did a lot.
Strega.
Got a lot
But
of stuff.
We have said before that Benevento, I think we said it.
Yeah.
You know, they have
Different
a
team.
Yeah, they have a modern coach. They always attack. They don't have a lot of points, but the mentality is there. And against AC Milan, they paid.
But no, let me say
I'm
something.
not trying to find excuses for the loss. A loss is a loss. You need to win those games in
Yeah.
Milan, especially when you play home. But you know, it happens to the greatest team to lose. Barcelona will have lost. They lost a game with the last one. Real Madrid lost a game with the last one on the standing. So it can happen to some of the greatest teams.
Yes, that happens when Barcelona's in first place. Milan is not in first place. If you're in first place when Juve do it against SPAL or Crotone, it's different than when Milan have been doing this consistently. It's not an excuse. Crudelli, after the match, he did a rant, and it was... I completely agree with him. He said we had one extra man for the last, 15 minutes of the match, and they still couldn't put anything together. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. There's no more excuses. You can't keep having these excuses. I'm with you that sometimes, the ball doesn't go in, but at a certain point, Anto, now every single question, I don't know how many, maybe 100 questions. Gattuso out. Gattuso out.
No,
Gattuso
no
out.
way.
Gattuso out.
No way.
Ask Antonio. Should Gattuso?
No way. Absolutely not.
Some people messaging us. Please tell Antonio next podcast. He has to agree that Gattuso needs to be
Gattuso
sacked.
is going to stay. Gattuso is going to stay.
Yeah, but we have to also Milan's players. I mean, there's not anything special there. I'm sorry. There's no one there that you can say, "Wow, this is a really good player."
Bonaventura, Donnarumma.
I will keep a 7 or 8
Even,
players.
but even
Suso
Bonaventura,
is
he
a-
has
Suso
on
is
and
a
off.
good
Suso
games.
was out,
Suso's
and then he was
on and
brought in.
off.
Suso's on and off.
He's not.
He's
These
been
are not
very
players
on
that
and off.
He was
consistently.
ill. He had a fever. So
Yeah, but you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna cut inside. He's gonna
True.
cross with his left. He's a one-footed player.
They were doing the same thing too many times against Benevento that I was like, that it's what they did the whole game. I mean, you saw with Andre Silva and Cutrone. We watched the game together.
Yeah.
You saw, we kept saying they were doing the same exact play
But I
every
think
single time.
Even, besides, you want to say Gattuso's inspirational, which I could disagree with, but there's a confusion in Milan. There's no striker. There was a time when Inzaghi was your striker, and you knew he was gonna play. Or Inter has Icardi right now, or Juventus they look at Higuain. At Milan, you don't know
we do not have a pure striker.
who's the
you're saying.
striker. No, you have 3 of them,
But they're not performing.
They're not performing,
Well,
or they're not at that level.
Kalinic, I have been sincere,
They're
has
not
been a
at that
big
level.
disappointment.
Kalinic,
has
Andre
been a-
Silva.
Andre Silva.
Cutrone even?
I don't know. Cutrone, listen, Cutrone had a
He's young.
chance.
He's young.
He had a chance. Just the goalkeeper, the guy just hit it. He had
Yeah.
it and didn't get it into his foot. I mean, hey, when la palla è maledetta, we say in Italy, forget about it. There is nothing that you can do.
What do you think about Kalinic?
Kalinic, I think, is not a player that can.
He's got to go.
He's a player that can play in Cotrone, in Crotone, or Benevento, teams like that. That is not
Mid-level.
It's not a big stage player,
Wait.
especially San Siro. San Siro, you can be a great player, but you can be a stage, afraid of the big stage, and
Frightened.
Afraid, yeah. So same thing happened in baseball. There are great baseball players. As soon as they come to play for the Yankees, the pressure gets to them and they just fall flat.
San Siro's a cathedral of soccer.
It's the Scala,
Yeah,
la
you
Scala
gotta
del
have-
Calcio. So that's what happened.
But
to a lot of people.
even with Andre Silva, it's the same thing. I mean, they had Andre Silva and Cutrone. I couldn't tell which one was playing on the left and which one was playing on the center. I mean, they move around so many times. But I mean, Peter makes a good point about that, and it's confusing. It's very confusing. Maybe they got to get Cassano inside the locker room.
I wish.
Right? He should be the
I
assistant
wish.
coach of
Team manager with Gattuso.
I
Can you imagine if you have Gattuso and Cassano on the same team, coaching the same team?
Are you kidding me?
Like they're straight to Serie B.
Yeah, Cassano will be the first one. He will take his coaching shoes off and we'll just you will show them what to do on the field. Listen, anyway, I want to just say something that I've been noticed the last 2-3 weeks. The stadiums are filling up.
Huh?
with people. For
It's an
some
exciting
reasons.
league.
It's very exciting. I mean, Roma is almost a sold out. Napoli's got sold out.
Yep.
Juventus got sold out. AC Milan got sold out. Not with Benevento, but they got sold out when they played with Juventus. And I'm sorry, with Napoli. I mean, this is a great thing. I mean,
Inter has a, like
Inter
the
has
best
a
attendance.
Yeah.
everybody now in Italy, what they do, they buy into Sky, and then what they do, they just put $2 each or €2 each, and they buy the pizza, and they they don't have to go to drive to the stadium or buy the parking ticket or just
It's
wait
expensive.
online and
It's
all that stuff.
expensive.
Well, it's expensive, but at the same time, you want people to be exciting about the game. I said, oh God, we're gonna go spend €30 to do what? To watch those losers playing. But now the Campionato is getting a lot of very interesting, and a lot of people, they just went back to the stadium. So what does that tell you? The stadium, they're not good for the way they're not set up the proper way, except for Juventus Stadium, San Siro,
Udinese.
and, Firenze, Udinese. Those are the greatest stadiums because you have a relationship one-on-one between the players and the spectators. But when it comes down to Bari or to Napoli or to I don't know, Roma, they have all of those
Racing track.
huge racing track over there. It's like you have to take the binocular to be able to watch who score, who touched the ball, or if he's in, if he's out, all of those things. So why should anybody go to the stadium when they have a big screen TV home and just with €1 they can enjoy watching the game, and they'll have the pizza and they'll tell somebody to go to buy acqua minerale for them because they're thirsty. All right? So
Let me say. Are you gonna say
this is a
something?
great thing.
No, I was moving the can from Red Bull. What does the Red Bull have to do with the
I think, I need to wake up a
with
little
San
bit.
Siro?
You don't need to wake up a little bit. I think you're very awake. Let me tell you this is going to wake you up. Milan's last 6 games. 1-0 loss to Benevento, 1-1 tie to Torino, 0-0 against Napoli, 1-1 to Sassuolo, 0-0 to Inter, and a loss to Juventus, 3-1. Last 6 games, winless.
Very
And
inspirational, I would say.
Yeah,
Against
very motivated.
Hey, 4 of those 6 games were against great teams, right? Is Juventus a great team? Is Napoli a great team? Is Inter a great team? I don't know.
Inter, you guys and Inter should be a little bit, no?
Well,
What about Benevento?
I don't know.
Torino.
Benevento,
Sassuolo.
But Torino is supposed to have this Belotti.
But Torino,
What are we gonna do
Belotti
with
helped you out. He missed the penalty.
Oh boy, give me a. I just hope they don't buy him. We can give it to
You
Inter.
don't like Belotti?
No, I don't like Belotti.
You should be praying for anyone at this point with the striker's position because there's not too much. Anyway, Crudelli had that rant, like I said, that went a little bit viral. It's on our channel in English. You could check it out. But he was extremely upset. He says that nobody needs to make excuses. Milan fans, he said, the fans, every single day we're dying on the field. He said, we give them everything that we have. He says, but look what they give to us. They don't give anything back to us. So maybe they need a little bit of Crudelli inside there too to inspire them, because right now for Milan, forget about Champions League. You got to get Europa League at this point.
If
Let's talk about Inter. Inter 2-1 against Chievo. A match that, I mean, very simple at first. In the 89th minute, Inter were up 2-0. 90th minute, Chievo score 2-1. 95th minute, they were inches away from putting the ball in the back of the net. I almost had I couldn't believe. I thought it was a boring game at first. I was like this, and Chievo in the last 5 minutes almost scored 2 goals and ruined everything for Inter, where they got very, very complacent. And so that was crazy. It ended up being offsides at the end. But what do you think?
Listen, Chievo played a good game. They had more opportunities than the last 5 minutes of that 90th minute. They gave Inter a run for their money. Inter was able to absorb. It wasn't one of the better games. They had to suffer a lot. But I think at the end of the day, a good team is able to win these matches.
Andanovic
listen,
for the first 20 minutes, he
Hey,
must have
but-
made 4 or 5
but
saves.
that's-
Unbelievable.
He's been
But
doing that
guess
for
what?
how many years?
That's why we got him. He's a top goalkeeper. Same with Juventus with Buffon. Buffon gives you automatically 10 points. Handanovic gives you 10 points. Donnarumma is still on his way, but he should be giving you 10
He
points.
should be giving us 10 points. You're right.
That's the
Antonio
difference.
Donnarumma?
That's the difference between good
Antonio, 20
goalkeepers.
points.
you
If
know?
he stays.
But the point is that you were able to stay in these games, and then every time Icardi Perisic scores, I think what's
They
the
make it
percentage Inter wins
Yeah.
almost every game.
They make
They're the
it
only
count.
two that really score.
So right now, It's just about maintaining the win. Even if we win every game from now on 1-0, I'm happy.
What's the Inter schedule for to the end?
Well, they're gonna play
We got
Juventus,
Juventus.
Saturday.
Then where else? Do you think Lazio is gonna still?
Lazio's the last game.
Oh.
Yeah, Inter's got a tough.
Lazio Inter.
Amy-
It's
oh.
tough.
Juventus, Udinese, Sassuolo, Lazio.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all
Which-
tough games.
All tough
they're
because
tough
they all
games.
fight. 2 of them are fighting for the relegation
Udinese
zone.
too.
That's what I'm saying.
11 game loss for Udinese.
Oh my God.
They're risking. I mean, Odo said
Yeah.
before the match, we need to win today to not get to not risk relegation, and they lost today.
Yeah, because-
against I almost said Crotone.
Well, the magic number in Serie A is 40, right? Relegation zone. They have 33, so they're right there, right?
They're but yeah,
Yeah.
but they're lucky that they have
Spal,
teams underneath them that are.
Spala's
but
29.
Even I was surprised about SPAL. We'll talk about it later, but because they've been having a great run,
Yeah.
and they at home they lost versus Roma, so Crotone also. You know, the fighting spirit. I think Zenga might be more inspirational than Gattuso. I think Zenga is more inspirational than Gattuso.
Oh,
would
well, I don't know about that.
He's got the Inter.
It's a mix between Cassano and Gattuso, we'll say, right?
Zenga now.
Well, one thing to add on about Inter is that Allegri said that this is going to be the decisive match. He said the match against Inter is going to be the one that decides the title. And then, again, of course, like everybody, some people were like, oh, okay, good. Some people were like, do you realize you still have to play Roma in the match? And even the other games are like, you screwed up against SPAL and I almost said Crotone, which are the games that you could lose.
Marco.
No, not the last
second
game.
to last.
Oh.
Last game, they play Hellas Verona.
Yeah,
Juve.
but so here's a question for you: was that right of Allegri to put that type of pressure on his players, saying
yeah.
Inter versus Juventus is the game?
Yeah.
Because now, if they lose that game or tie that game, how do the players react? Or do you think they're champions enough that that doesn't bother them?
Listen,
What's
Allegri didn't put the pressure on this. Allegri, I think, put the pressure even on today's game. It happened that Napoli scored on the last minute of the game. So, I mean, like Gaetano said, he didn't want to leave anything to Napoli to take home. He wanted just at least 1 point and then eventually take his chance. So those 2-3 minutes, if they didn't score, we would have been talking about that the Campeonato is over right now.
Not me.
Hey,
So no added pressure saying that the Inter game is
I think every
is
game
the Scudetto
should've-
game
for Juventus, yes.
for Juventus. So
For
it's
Juventus,
added pressure.
I
Allegri
think
saying
they
that.
do not need to tie the game. They need to win this game and then wait for what happened with Napoli. No, who's playing
Inter
Sunday?
Juventus is playing Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Napoli's the second game on
Oh,
Sunday.
shit.
Napoli plays Sunday.
Mike's here.
Hey, Mike. We're just talking about Milan losing.
All I'm saying is,
Manolas didn't score. Don't
Yeah,
worry
you
about
said
it.
last week that the Campeonato's over, that Juventus won
you
it.
guys said Juve were gonna win every single one except for
We already gave you credit for that one. Yeah.
So Napoli plays, Juventus plays Saturday, Inter Saturday. and
Inter
Napoli,
Juventus.
Inter Juventus, and then Napoli plays Sunday.
Fiorentina.
Yeah, Fiorentina, Napoli,
Is it
Firenze.
Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anyway. Let's continue.
That
Yeah, the
could be a
29.
game. That could be a game because if Fiorentina even
Oh.
ties that game, if Fiorentina ties that game and Juventus win, we're back to 4 points or 3 points.
Yeah, well,
Listen.
granted. But right now,
Right.
is it added pressure?
Oh, yes.
Mike.
For Juventus, yes.
It's added pressure.
Absolutely.
Is Allegri right saying something like that?
It's not right. I mean, the players, they know. They don't need Allegri
They don't
to
need
tell
to
them.
tell
No, the players, they know.
Listen,
What do
what
you
he
think?
says in the media and what he says to the players.
Yeah.
No.
What do you think, Gaetano?
Oh yeah.
If you're a player, you know.
the
Doesn't make a
player-
difference?
No, the players know that after the performance that they had tonight,
They know.
they know that they got to
That-
come out.
I think it's
and,
good that they have a little bit of pressure. They're a little bit too lenient and leaning backwards over here. That,
I mean, you
that
need
everything's
to,
done.
You win. You need to win all 4 games, and then you don't need anybody else.
But saying
So-
that the game versus Inter is the Scudetto game.
Well, you know, for him, the next game
Yeah.
is the most important game.
I agree with that. I think that's the way that you got to see it.
Yeah.
Like you said, SPAL, they did nothing against Roma. 3-0 Roma walked over SPAL. And I got to admit, I was surprised too because I said, listen, SPAL has been coming out the last few games. They're in this relegation, so I didn't expect that from Roma, especially because we already got Champions League coming up. You always expect this little bit of not hangover, but a little bit of anticipation. I feel like when they played Barcelona in the match before, didn't they screw up in the league? The match before the Barca, right?
Yeah,
They tied.
yeah.
So I was a little bit nervous in that sense. But Roma is also under a lot of pressure, tied with Lazio in points, and they're both fighting still for third place. I mean, anyone could get it, and Roma's still, like Allegri says, nobody's in any competitions. Roma's still in the competition, and Lazio's not in any other competition.
If they finish this with the same amount of points, I think Lazio's got a little edge.
I don't remember the head-to-head. I don't remember what the head-to-head is, but we can figure that out anyway.
Yeah, I think that Roma is. I think they're playing good, and that Di Francesco is. They're listening to what Di Francesco is saying, and Di Francesco is doing a good job. I mean, SPAL tied Juventus, they tied Inter Milan. So I thought that today they were going to give a hard game to Roma, but Roma, they scored. They
scored.
Yeah,
even Sheik scored.
They won the game convincingly. So I think Roma is one of those teams that they will get one of the spots for the Champions League.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, there was shouts for a penalty when it was 0-0. I don't know, but they didn't. The VAR was not used.
I don't remember.
It was one of those questionable ones. Antenucci got in front of Fazio, and Fazio kind of like leaned into him. I guess in all that action, it didn't seem like it was a penalty, and they didn't opt to look at the VAR. So right there, like you said, palla e rotondo, no?
Yeah.
What happened? Spal gets the penalty, 1-0. It completely changes the whole outcome.
And by the way, there was a penalty on Zapata. It was a clean penalty.
Did you spill it?
Yeah, you see what happened? I need a Red Bull. I'm done with water. So there was a clean penalty. It was a clean penalty for Zapata. Actually, you should pull it out to find out. And it was not given to AC Milan. I don't know.
What'd you say about Zapata too? Say it on the podcast. What you told me about Zapata.
Zapata is a great player.
No, but tell me what you said. Tell the words that you said about Zapata. And I told you I was gonna make you repeat it on the podcast.
I don't remember. I mean, Zapata for me.
That he's a top defender.
I think he's a top defender. If he can play in Colombia, it is one of the three defender of Colombia. I mean, why shouldn't he be a good defender?
He'll be a top defender for Benevento.
No way. No way.
And Milan, I don't think Zapata's a Milan.
He's better than your little kid over there on the back of your
Rugani?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is he better than Bonucci?
Well, Bonucci, he's playing for AC Milan, so leave Bonucci alone for now. But he's definitely much better than Rugani, and Rugani shouldn't be playing in the Italian national team. Okay, there is other players much better than Rugani. So since he's part of the Juventus,
I'm sure that's why.
Yeah, that's the reasons why they pulled the little kid over there.
Let's go over to. I mean, there's not too much to say about Roma. We'll have a talk on Champions League or whatever. Fiorentina 1-0. They lost to Sassuolo. Fiorentina. I mean, we were talking about how incredible it was. They were like 7 games or 8 games almost. And then last week we know what they did, and then this week again, Fiorentina. One of those teams too.
I think the emotions are wearing out now.
Yeah, they're very, very flip-flop. Politano scored again, which is incredible. The last few games of the Campionato, this guy decided to wake up. Berardi, no one even remembers who Berardi is because Politano's playing. I mean, he keeps scoring so many goals. Last thing, Lazio, 4-0 against Sampdoria. A match that I did not expect Lazio and Sampdoria. 4-0 is just insane.
They keep feeding the ball to Immobile because they want Immobile to still win the
You gotta go closer.
I was saying they just keep feeding the ball to Immobile because they want Immobile to overtake. To still be on top over there for the Classifica Capocannonieri with what's his name? The Inter big gun over there.
Icardi. The one that always scores against Milan?
No. Well, yeah, especially when Bonucci is guarding him, but not anymore. He didn't score the last time. As far as I know.
Because Zapata was marking him, right? About Immobile, 29 goals in the league alone this season. That's more goals than Hellas Verona, more goals than Sassuolo, and more goals than Genoa have scored. He's not only outscoring the players, he's outscoring teams now. Ciro Immobile, I think it's 41 goals in all competitions. It is absolutely mental.
Yeah, but you know what? This Ciro Immobile will have remembered to score when he was playing for the Italian national team.
You sound
and here we are discussing about Immobile, having all of those easy goals, and then when he's supposed to be putting the ball inside in the box, it's
not. But who's feeding him?
True.
That position
Every
is
single
all
player
about
in
who's
Italy
feeding him.
I don't know. I don't know about Immobile.
Yeah, but even Immobile, I mean, even with Italy, I mean, he's had one like right in front of the net where if
I'm
he's
not,
wearing a Lazio
I'm
jersey,
not
he
sold
would
on
bang
him.
it.
I'm not sold on him. I mean,
No,
this is an outlier to
But
me.
29 goals, you got to give him respect for what he's
sure,
doing.
absolutely.
Salah, I mean, Salah scores 30 goals and the world turns around. Ciro Immobile scores 29 and nobody even bats an eye. And he's scoring in a much harder
He's
league.
also doing it in Champions League, Salah.
That's true.
It's a different story.
That's true, but Immobile is also doing it in Italy, which is not an easy league to score in. Salah, we know what Salah did last season in Italy. A lot of assists, but when it came to, playing, it was tough. I hope we see that against Roma, too.
I think the way the Lazio is playing right now, they're probably going to get that place in Champions League. Even though I think that Inter will probably spend more money in the Champions League to play in the Champions League. Lazio, they go there and then they don't do that well in the Champions League. So or they sell players. You sell the players, which they could help you for next year. Isn't De Vrij?
He's gone.
He's gone. The
gone.
guy he scored, I think, 6 goals.
Yeah.
6 goals.
And they have the best. They got like the best defensive players that have scored the more goals in all of Serie A.
But they don't defend that well.
But they scored a lot of goals.
The
defenders.
style
Yeah.
style of play is just a free flow. They just go.
Yeah, they go too much.
But
they lost De Vrij. De Vrij he's
They
going on
score a lot
free.
of goals, but they take a lot of goals.
They take
too.
a lot of goals.
Yeah,
Lazio,
they
so.
can-
But I think Gaetano was right. As far as if they make the Champions League spot, Milinkovic Savic has got
That's what I
rumored
said
to go
last
to
week.
Manchester United.
So
There's a lot of players that we don't know if you're going to stay there next year. And at least with Inter making the 4th spot, you know that they're going to spend money.
He got
be-
mad at me for saying this last
I'll be
week.
happier to see Lazio on the first part because if we're gonna be miserable, AC Milan, Inter will be miserable too. But I got news for you. I just hope that Allegri slips up one more time because in 2 weeks we're gonna have the Coppa Italia, the final of Coppa Italia. So I hope that
You
they
could
fall
take
asleep
Coppa
again.
Italia. You could take Coppa
there
Italia.
we go. I'll
You
take
need
it.
something.
I'll
Otherwise,
take it.
this
I'll
year
definitely take it.
it's been many years for you.
Might leave
No good.
might leave Juventus with nothing. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, you see.
I know. I mean, listen. I know Allegri keeps holding on to this clutch of the Coppa Italia every time. We came to the Coppa Italia 4 times. Yes, it's incredible. That's very good. But for Juventus, to me, the biggest problem, and when I said the management, listen, we've been a competitive team for 7 years. Not competitive. The best team in Italy for 7 years. And there's always been the competition. There was Milan, right? Where Juventus beat Milan in 2011 with Conte. Then there was Roma, who was the competition, who was pushing. Remember, we went to watch Juve Roma, and we were like, oh, who's gonna win this, right? And then now there's Napoli. So every team progressively gets better and better. Juventus, yes, they are getting better and better, but not to the degree of you want to win all 3. It's not been enough. So I think that the management is part to blame. But anyway, it's a bigger discussion.
Peter, this is another reasons why you were saying that Juventus must win Sunday because they have even they have the factor in the Coppa Italia, the finale di Coppa Italia.
Yeah, but the thing
And
is, you cannot say they're going to win because Inter must win also. If they want the Champions League, it's $30 million getting into the Champions
listen,
League. You
I
have
think
to win.
Agnelli's money they're a lot more powerful than the Chinese money over there. So you will put the euro against the one. Plus Agnelli can just get a Ferrari, on side over there.
Well, I don't know.
They got a lot of money, but do they
He'll
spend the
tell the
money?
referee, yo.
Suning Group.
He will tell the ref, I said, hey, you got a Ferrari parked on your driveway. Just
yeah, but there was no
just a
Ferrari.
reminder.
There was no Ferrari today.
There was no Ferrari. I don't know. I don't know.
So what are
Maybe
you talking
Napoli.
about?
I don't know, but
Oh, Chucho, what did they give him to Napoli?
What? I missed that. I was telling Mike. Be
No,
quiet
he's saying
over
the
there.
Ferrari didn't work this time.
Yeah.
First
Oh.
Napoli.
Yeah, he says that they're going to
They
give
parked the
a
Chucho.
Ferrari for the next game.
They parked the
Oh,
Chucho.
And they would have given a Ferrari
ci hanno
today.
dato un asino, ci hanno dato oggi.
They have too many Ferraris. I think that's part of the problem.
Instead of horsepower, they got donkey power on their driveways, okay?
We got a lot of questions. We posted a few minutes ago. We got a lot of questions. They're a little bit scattered and all over the place, but we'll go through them. And then anyone else who has anything else to add. Matthew Montesano says, Antonio Gaetano, is it over? Is the league over? Is it I think they're making fun of you. I don't think that They're saying that as because you guys been saying that it's over for.
Well, we said it at the beginning of the
I know.
the podcast.
I just said I'm going through the questions. Look, I told you it's got a death
To
stare.
me, if Inter wins, I mean, if Juventus wins Sunday,
if you guys and your ifs,
I think for
Jesus
me,
Christ.
80%, it's 80% Juventus is going to take it.
But you went from 100% to 80, right?
80% Juventus is going to take it.
Ahmad says, is Dybala leaving Juve? I mean,
Yes. Yes, he's leaving.
There's no point to really go into that. I mean, we
Yes,
got a
he's
whole
leaving.
beautiful league on our hands. Another one. Who does Antonio want Milan to sign in the summer? Tell him he needs to be realistic. See, they know you. They know to be careful with
Realistic.
you.
No Ronaldo, no Messi.
We don't need them.
Well,
Cassano,
how old
maybe.
is Cassano?
Come back.
I don't know, Cassano. Cassano is he already...
He's 30. What is that?
Cassano is getting up there. with his
35?
age. No, I think it's 37 or 38.
I'll find it right now.
Alright.
Someone,
36.
I think it's
36,
35. So
36.
sign
35.
35. So
Okay.
sign
Oh.
Cassano.
somebody commented, if Cassano was playing in Milan right now, what position would they finish in?
Oh, easily probably on the second or third place. Easy.
At 35 years old.
So what? So what? So what? The age, actually, the Cassano is like the wine.
Italian. He's Italian.
You get better as you age.
Didn't even play for Hellas Verona.
He
Did you see
didn't
it?
want
Did
to
you-
play.
No. Did you
He
see that?
did not
That's
want to
true.
play.
That's not true.
He didn't want to disgrace himself from playing with a bunch of losers. I said, I gotta be able to put the ball on the feet of somebody that is gonna just push it right off the line. Those people are not capable of even pushing the ball off the line. Come on.
But
on.
did you see the video of Cassano when he went for the first day? He signed the contract. He
Couldn't
first he said, I'm going to Virtus Antella. Then he said, no, I'm going to Hellas Verona. He says the contract. This guy, the whole team is running. This guy's
Cassano
like
doesn't
walking behind.
need
He was
money.
dying.
Cassano
not
doesn't
money.
need the money.
Running. The guy couldn't run around the
I
field.
think too many Panzerotti. right?
He could not run. he couldn't
Baresi
run at all.
Panzerotti.
So I don't think that he would do that. We have another question. This is a good one. If Conte becomes available in the summer, does Milan have to drop Gattuso for him? Peter, go for this one because if Conte becomes available, should Milan get rid of Gattuso for Conte?
I find it hard. I don't think
No.
it would be the right move to do. Conte also, you have to pay. You know, he's not going to come in with the salary of Gattuso. So right now, I don't think Milan has the players to get Conte and say, okay, now we can aim for a Champions League spot or now we can aim for Scudetto. It all depends on the summer moves.
Yeah,
that
but
they-
Peter,
they
even
get.
Conte is going to demand a bunch of players
That's
that
what I'm
AC Milan
saying.
is not going to
Well,
be able
that's
to
what-
give it to them.
exactly.
I
He's
mean,
not
AC
gonna let
Milan,
me.
It all depends on the summer
they are,
moves.
yeah, they're struggling with their
So-
budget. They're trying to say they almost with one foot in and with one foot out. I mean, somebody says, oh, we have the money. Somebody says, oh, we don't have the money. Oh, we're going to come up with the money and all the stuff. So you think that they have the extra $10 million for Conte?
That was
for
the reason Conte left Juventus.
Exactly. He's not gonna
He
go to
wasn't
Milan.
getting
No.
the players that he wanted.
So the answer is no.
Another question. Now that Napoli are 1 point behind, do you think that they could still get ahead of Juventus? And then there's an additional question that I'll bunch together. People have made it out that Napoli have won the Scudetto. We're talking about Juventus here. Why wouldn't they be able to beat Roma and Inter? Fiorentina, Torino, Sampdoria, Crotone are not easy teams for Napoli to play. Comment on it?
No, now that the way things work out right now, anything can happen. You know, Inter, they got to go to play in Inter Milan. It's going to be a very difficult game. And, yeah, everything is back in the best league in Europe.
Follow up to that question. We got a lot of this. Do you think Allegri would be sacked if he fails to win the Scudetto? And then he said, and Coppa Italia. Do you think Allegri is making the same mistakes as he did with Milan in 2011/2012 when he dropped a 4-point gap to Juve and then lost the title that season? I didn't even realize that, but
I think Allegri
comment on both.
historically he's been you know, he's been shown to be a choker, especially in the big situation. He lost 2 times the Champions League final
That's
with Juventus.
completely irrelevant.
Wait.
Completely irrelevant.
He lost 2 times the Champions League with Juventus. He made 2 major mistakes over there. I mean, let's not discount the fact that he was facing, I don't know, Barcelona or whatever, Real Madrid. But on the big games, Allegri doesn't come true all the time. And I think Allegri is gone. I think Allegri is going to go regardless because I think his cycle is over with Juventus. He knows
Regardless if they lose the Scudetto or win the
that
Scudetto?
winning or losing is gone. To me, he's gone, 100%.
I think so. If he loses the Scudetto.
No, even if he wins, Peter, he's gone.
think
He's
so?
gone, yeah.
I just think I could agree with that because winning the 7th Scudetto, well, he didn't win all 7, but winning another
6, and
Scudetto,
then, yeah.
he doesn't have any more ambition unless
Especially for a team that has got already 22 Scudettis. How many do they have?
think he wants
22?
to.
So,
22. We got
30.
freaking 38.
Over
who
30.
cares?
They got
Nobody
the three
cares.
star.
That's the point.
I care.
You guys
I care.
cares.
I
Nobody
care.
else cares.
I care.
How many Champions
My
League
games-
you have?
my-
How many champions you have?
Listen,
They have
listen.
7 finals that they
So
lost.
wow, boy. No, I want to know how many did you win?
Listen.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay, so
Okay, listen. Our
so you
ambition is
listen
not
to
playing
me.
against Benevento
You
this
listen
week.
to me.
Our
You-
ambition is Scudetto.
You listen to me. You
No,
gotta
I'm
get
listening.
Conte back, or you get Ancelotti. You are winning coach. This guy here, Allegri, is not a winner.
Well, Conte hasn't won the Champions League.
Okay, yeah, well, Ancelotti did. So
Ancelotti,
maybe
yes.
you can ask Ancelotti. I have his number. I'll call him. But the guy needs to get paid, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be listening to Agnelli and Nedved. Ancelotti is his own man. It's not like Allegri. Oh yes, sir. Ancelotti doesn't say yes, sir, to anybody. Okay, that's what you need in Juventus.
You said the same thing about Gattuso, but that's not
Baloney.
working out. You
Gattuso-
said the same thing. You said that
No
Gattuso
way.
doesn't answer to anybody.
Yeah.
And Cassano. Is
Yeah.
that working out that well for them?
Listen. A coach, Conte is one of those that is not going to take any crap from anybody.
We know
It's
this.
like Mourinho.
Well, let's not put Mourinho over there, please.
Yeah, to put it in there.
Mourinho, there is a lot of stuff that you don't know. You and I, we don't know about him.
How do you know that?
Anyway, Conte is one of those coaches that is not going to take anything from management. He's not going to be he's not going to be scolded by anybody and said, hey, this is my job. This is where I do my job. You like it? You keep me. If you don't like it, I'm happy to go. That's it. And Mancini is another one of those. Okay, I forgot to mention that. Nobody mentions Mancini over here. And
he
he's
left.
100%
He left
coaching the
3
Italian
years.
national team, Mancini.
Yeah. Not 100, but very close.
Yeah, no, I think Allegri's gone. Whether he wins or he loses, that's it. I think his cycle is over and it's
Yeah.
gonna move on.
Who's going to be the coach?
That they said Simone Inzaghi. I've heard his name, but I don't know.
We
You
also
have
heard
to
last season, if you went to the reverse of this, just to give some context, and I was going to say, you've been saying Allegri for, a few weeks now, you've had that idea. Last year, we were saying the same exact thing, that Allegri was leaving Juventus, number one, and they had that whole meeting where they said that they determined that they still want to go together, and number two, that Spalletti was going to be the replacement. I don't know if you guys remember.
Of Allegri?
No.
Juventus,
Last
last
year.
year.
Last year.
Please.
What are you saying? Oh, please.
Juventus will never take Spalletti.
I'm not saying they got.
Oh, come on.
I'm saying that last year we were talking about Allegri leaving and Spalletti taking over. That was the big talking point with his whole thing with Roma, and then it ended up changing. So whatever happens now we got the Campionato, we've got the league on, and the last question I wanted to say is because a lot of Serie A fans watch us, but there's also a lot of Chelsea fans and Premier League fans who try to get some. Engage, try to understand the Serie A. And there was a question about Sarri. They said, with everything that Sarri's doing this season, do you think that his style can suit the Premier League?
Yes.
You think his style could suit the Premier League?
Yeah.
He would need the right team.
Like a Chelsea is like the thing that's going around.
Is this style? His style of playing, I think, is very much geared to have the Premier League, because it's the type of team, Napoli, it's a proposition team. They don't wait for anybody. They're always attacking. They just aggressively go on the portatore di palla. They just take the ball away and they keep up. They move. They have a very high tempo of playing, and that's what I like about the game of this guy here.
Yeah,
Now he's still a small coach. I mean, it's a little town coach. All of a sudden now he stepped up to go to Napoli, and the Napoli could be just a big stage for him. That so far has been shown that he's capable to hold the pressure down. Now we don't know what is going to happen if he goes to Chelsea or Manchester United or Manchester City. Those are a bigger stage than Napoli. Not to say that Napoli is a little stage comparing to those, but the money factor could be.
Well, we have to remember Sarri, when he first went to Napoli, he had a rough time. The first couple of months, the team wasn't performing. Everybody was getting upset. He lost to Sassuolo. He lost these different games. So, I think his style of play takes time. He can definitely coach in England because his style of play is that quick movement, a lot of the ball on the ground, passing and stuff like that. So, it's something that can be
technical. Yeah, he needs a very technical.
He's a very technical style of coach. The only thing is he's very stubborn. So it'll be interesting to see if, like Premier League, if he has to make changes during a game, where in Premier League the style of play is completely different than Serie A, where it's more physical and stuff like that. Would he be able to adjust?
Chelsea fans hate Conte for his stubbornness. That's the biggest thing that they have. The criticism is that. So just to
Chelsea fans, they don't like Conte because he let Diego Costa go. That's the reason. That's the only reasons why they hate him. But
and
Conte,
because they're not winning the
hey,
league.
let me remind you one more thing about Conte. Conte today, he went to the final of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I think they won 2-1 against
Yeah,
I forgot the name.
doesn't matter.
Okay, so they're Conte and Mourinho. They're going to be facing each other again.
In the final,
So that'll be nice.
Who's gonna win?
I don't know. I just hope Conte.
You know what's funny? Our friend Ryan, who's a big Manchester United fan, he's been watching the podcast. And by the way, this week you went viral, Anto. People, the news was picking up on your Cassano quote with Messi. You know how many we got like 30 or 40 DMs of people. Guys, Antonio's on. I just got a notification about Antonio saying that Messi. You had it exposed you to a lot of people, but you had a lot of people agreeing with you. They said, listen, but they disagreed and agreed. They said, Antonio, if you're talking about skill or potential skill, that Cassano and Messi potentially skill-wise were on the same level, but they're not at the same level now, like based off what they achieved in their careers.
Yes, but what did he do against Roma, Messi? What did he do?
Oh,
He choked.
That's one game, but
He
come on.
choked. That one game is very important. He's
Cassano
gonna
would
do
not have choked.
every
He's
year.
gonna do-
Cassano would not have
Every
choked.
year.
Never.
Cassano,
Never.
Every
Messi
year.
choked.
With
Cassano
Argentina.
wouldn't.
Messi's going to do that with Argentina. Messi's not Maradona.
On
I
Argentina,
love
he has
Messi. He's a
nobody.
Messi.
He has nobody on that
Listen to
team
me.
compared to
Messi's a champion.
He's got everybody.
Messi is a champion with the C, with the minuscule, it's a lowercase C.
lowercase.
Maradona is a champion with the big.
And Cassano,
Cassano,
The huge.
He becomes with a C. Cassano is a champion.
Because his last name starts with a big C.
There you go.
I wanna you mentioned Cassano and again Messi. How many Ballon d'Or did Cassano win?
Cassano doesn't need to do that.
He doesn't need it, right?
How about every year scoring
many?
more than
He doesn't need
40
it.
He
goals?
gets the whole prosciutto
ten
in body, right? That's a
How many
Ballon d'Or.
Cassano?
Did
He
Messi
doesn't
win?
need prosciutto. He
More than Cassano.
eat octopus.
He eats a lot of prosciutto. Have you seen
maybe
Cassano?
When he moved in, when he
Genoa.
moved over there to Genoa, he
Genoa.
started to eat prosciutto.
A lot of good focaccia
Oh
over
my
there.
God!
So Messi, I mean, okay, just to define that a little bit, Cassano, big case champion C, big C, Messi, lowercase c.
Yes.
Ouch.
The fact.
It's not. It's a choker. Messi is a choker. You see the C? Choker.
And Cassano?
Messi is going to be responsible. If you want to reach to greatness, you want to reach the level of Cassano. You want to win. You're going to win the champion. I mean, the World Cup for Argentina.
To reach the level of Cassano, he has to win the World
If
Cup.
you don't reach that, you're never gonna be placed on the same level with Maradona. To me,
with
Maradona.
you.
How many
is the only
Maradona or Cassano?
Maradona. We're talking about Maradona and Cassano. Maradona is
Same
the best
person.
player of the world.
Yes, I
Contrary to
agree.
what my best friend Gaetano believes that it's Pelé.
Pelé?
Pelé. Okay, Maradona is the only one.
That compares to Cassano.
Leave Cassano alone. Leave Cassano alone. Cassano is a
Anyway.
champion.
What
okay?
else? What else we got?
Kaká's birthday today.
Oh.
36 years old. From Kaká. And there's this quote that we posted, and everybody, once we posted this, they wanted Antonio to react to this, and I'll just read it real quickly. He said, in Italy, I was considered the best player in the world. Everyone loved me. When I went to Spain, they all wanted me to leave. My biggest regret was leaving Milan for Real Madrid
And play for Mourinho.
and play for Mourinho.
That's what happened.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
That's what happened.
I said that.
Any players that goes to play under the, this big coach of Mourinho, they destroy their career. He destroys the career of those players.
Not everyone.
Svechenko left AC Milan when he was
Again.
Pallone d'Oro.
Maybe because he was an Inter fan at
Shevchenko.
heart.
Yes.
That's why
And
a
he
couple of
drops
players.
the Milan players. He's an Inter fan at heart. That's
Who?
probably what it is. Mourinho.
Mourinho.
So the Milan players, he just doesn't have that.
No, it has
feeling.
nothing to do with that. The guy really destroyed the career of the three of the best player of the world. I mean, it's not a case. And he's destroying Pogba.
It has
Pogba
a lot.
is
I
one of
think
the
it has
best
a
players,
lot
one of
to
the best
do-
midfielder.
It has a lot to do
With their
the
attitude?
style. No, the style of his coaching is very psychological. So he needs all his players to be beneath him or to follow a certain way. So sometimes when you have these champions that they're already
Champions.
top, it's hard to break them down. And I think that's his difficulty. Maybe he's not able to managed that top player. But then again, we can say, what about everybody else that played under him? There was
You
a lot
want to
of
tell
players
me,
that are
Peter?
good.
You wanted to tell
Ronaldo
me?
flourished under him.
You want to tell me that Mourinho is the skill of Mourinho that's so great to be able to tell Messi how to play his game, Ronaldo to play his game, Pogba to play his game, Cassano to play his game, Del Piero to play his game, Baggio to play his game. Those are fantasisti. You know what fantasisti means? Fantasisti, they can play any place in the field and they're supposed to be left free to do what they want. You cannot really tell those guys, listen, this is what I want you to be. From here to here,
But
to rotate the
that's-
ball here, come back here and do this.
But-
they cannot be told what to do.
But
That's why he's having problems.
But that's his style. His style is precisely that. And look, we even discussed it here. Lippi left off some players. He left
point.
off Cassano in the 2006 World Cup because he didn't fit his system or he didn't want him to ruin the locker room. These are coaches' decisions that they have to make, and Mourinho's able to back it up with what he has won.
Cassano said that he would never play for Juventus because Juventus wants soldiers. And he said Cassano's not a soldier.
He's not a soldier. You're right about that. Un fantasista. That's what they call him, Fantantonio. They called him Fantantonio for some reasons. The guy's got fantasy to sell to everybody. You got people that play like robots. This guy here, you can never guess what he's going to do with the ball. Okay, so don't give me that. All right? So Mourinho cannot tell Cassano what to do with the ball.
But that's precisely
because
the
Mourinho
point.
doesn't even know the shape of a ball.
Yeah, but how many Champions League has Cassano won?
That's nothing to do with that. That's nothing to do with that.
When you discuss winning and
It's got
not
nothing to
winning,
do.
you
Cassano's
can be a
one man. He
great
cannot
player.
win by
You
himself.
can be a great player and not win.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
you answer your own question.
But as a coach, you cannot be a great coach without winning.
Listen,
That's what I think. I don't know if
Listen,
anybody else has a.
those great coach, quote unquote, that we are discussing here right now, they winning because of the money that
Of course, but at the end of the
the
day,
He did it at
money
Porto.
that they've been given, they've been put it on the table for them to do what they want. Okay, show me what you're capable to do. The only coach so far that has won with zero money, it was Ranieri when he took Leicester from below zero to win the English Premier League. That's what I
that was
tip my
great.
hat to people like that.
course.
And the
Anybody else was never, nobody ever seen that.
but when he coached Juventus, when he coached Inter, when he coached Roma, he wasn't able to do it. So
Greece.
was it a freak year or I'm not saying he's not a bad coach. He's a good enough
can't be
coach.
the
He had a
model.
great year, but
Gasparini's the model.
Is he one of the greatest coaches?
But do you ever see Mourinho just taking a team that is
Porto.
Porto,
He won
when he
with
first
Porto
started.
in the Champions
But
League.
Porto was always one of the best teams in Portugal.
Not for the Champions League.
So
but
what?
who else?
They won.
So
they
then,
won.
So then, in your case, then Ranieri is the best coach in all.
No,
of
it's
soccer.
not. I'm not saying that. I said
Because
I wanted you
there's
to
no
show
other-
show me what have you done as a coach, bringing a team.
But that's
that is-
everywhere. That's not just Mourinho.
Peter, you don't understand.
Who else?
You don't understand,
In
Peter.
all
You don't
the
understand.
top five
Cassano,
leagues.
Gasparini, and
The untouchables.
yeah, those are the coaches. Cassano, Gasparini.
To me,
And
Gasperini is one
Gattuso.
of
Don't
the
forget
top-
Gattuso.
to
Wait,
me-
what did I say? I said Cassano. I meant Gattuso. I
To
screwed it
me,
up. That's why he didn't go
to
crazy.
Me, Gasperini,
That's
Gattuso,
why
those
I
are the
messed it
top.
up.
Listen, those are different makers. And now I tip my hat to Sarri too. I like his style of play. I like the
No,
the
okay.
style
You,
of play
you
of
talked
Sarri.
you talked about Pogba this week. Gattuso said they asked him players he would love. He goes, for Pogba, I would walk to Manchester to go grab him.
That's it. That's a great idea.
Milan are going to need to sell the entire
do the
club
Pellegrini.
to buy Pogba. There's no
Why
chance.
did you guys sold him?
No, I'm just saying for Milan if they want to buy him. I don't
What
think.
did you get from Pogba? You got
100
money,
million.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you sell him?
You got
That is
Higuain.
the Higuain. Listen to me. That is the player,
When a player
that you
doesn't-
needed.
this is the
That
difference,
is the
no.
player that you needed to put in front of Allegri and say, hey, win for me the Champions League. It would have won. Juventus would have won at least one Champions League.
When a
if they
player
had
when a
Pogba.
player doesn't want to stay at a place, Juventus let them go. They don't let the player dictate what they do. They don't just keep someone who doesn't want to stay there. That's not how it works. There's a lot of teams where a player could do whatever he wants. Who was it that they kept the player? They're like, no way, you're allowed to leave. There's a lot of these cases, and then you create a cancer in the locker room, and bad stuff happens. Anyway. One other thing I want to say, Arsene Wenger announced that he's going to retire. Sorry. I mean, even though I think that Arsenal told him, listen, we got to move on. So just retire right now, look good. And it's been 22 years since he started coaching. He did a lot of crazy stuff in the last few years. I think that, he probably should have left years ago. And obviously we don't have the best knowledge of the Premier League. But I just wanted to say some crazy stuff of where some of today's best coaches were 22 years ago when Arsene Wenger started coaching. So Sarri was a banker. At 22 years ago, he's a banker. Gattuso was playing center midfield at Perugia's Primavera. Spalletti, your boy Spalletti, he didn't have hair back then either. He just got Empoli promoted to Serie B. Allegri was playing center midfield for Perugia. Di Francesco was also a center midfielder for Piacenza. Di Francesco was from Piacenza. Conte won the Champions League with Juventus. Ancelotti got Reggiana promoted to Serie A, and then he took over Parma. And Mourinho was the assistant coach at Barcelona. So
you believe this? Assistant coach of Barcelona, and all of a sudden it's supposed to be God, this guy here, Mourinho.
all the beautiful things that I said, and you pick out to say Mourinho as the negative.
Just you guys are glorifying people for not great reasons. I mean, Mourinho really, he's just I don't know. He's just a coach that said, hey, give me $300 million. Okay, I'm gonna take this guy away from him, this guy away from him, and this guy away from him. I'm gonna put him over here, and I'm gonna win. Of course, this is. Do you think it's a fair way of winning, trophies and championships?
But that's not what he did with Inter.
That's what I was about to say.
So that as much as I hate to say it, you got to give some credit where credit is due. What he did with Inter changed it. 25 coaches, and nobody could do anything with Inter. How many coaches? He went there, and not only he won, but he won
everything.
The tripleta, which
Historical. Only
Historical.
Italian team.
yeah.
He
So
couldn't even believe himself that he won, to the point that he left immediately right after he won. He couldn't even believe it. I said, this is just unbelievable. Let me leave right now because he's
got an answer for
It's
everything.
just, you know what it is? It's just
how much more we got to go?
No, just a few.
We were almost
it's a hurting point for
Alright.
Milan fans, Juventus
I
fans.
get before we go. I got a question for Pete.
Okay, what's your question? Oh,
Pete, if next week AC Milan, plays a great game, are you going to come in with an AC Milan shirt?
No, I can never.
how about you
but
with an
also-
Inter shirt?
No, I'm not gonna come with him.
What do we have to do to get you to wear this right now?
No way.
Come on, hold it.
I want to learn.
Hold it.
I want to learn this color stripe, because if I see Peter, and I'll run him over with my car. I don't know what to do.
Antonio, you're crazy. 8 years ago, also, Mourinho did the incredible with Barcelona. Almost 8 years ago today. It was just a few days ago. He did that 3-1 against Barcelona. And so, incredible from him. And last thing, to conclude this, I just wanted to give credit to Serie A, who had this great initiative this week where they had every Serie A player put a red swatch on their face. And it was just to symbolize the going against domestic violence and abuse to women. So I thought it was a nice little thing that
Abuse
Serie
the
A...
woman, what about abuse the man too?
I think it's both.
Okay.
It's both, right?
Very good.
Is it
Hey,
both?
Pete, I
I
want to
think-
ask you one
Yeah.
question. I said,
Yeah.
do
Good
they
job.
have AC Milan helmets as well? Do they sell it?
You don't
I
ride a
haven't
motorcycle.
seen them, but
I know.
I'm
the
sure in
motorcycle.
Milan
They
I
make
bought
it,
this
right?
in an-
Okay,
in
I
a-
want to get one because I want it on the desk too the next time.
Now you want some, I feel like you're going to put this in your car. You're just going to wear this in your car.
Oh yeah, you got that.
All right.
You got that right.
Guys, as always, thank you for watching. Antonio, tell them what they got to do.
Guys, don't forget to rate the podcast, please. All
Rate
right?
the podcast,
Have a nice
guys.
weekend.
Rate the
All right,
podcast.
guys. We'll be back soon. Forza Roma this week.
Yes.
Let's hope that they could do it against Liverpool. Why you look surprised? They
Oh
play
yeah. What's that? Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Oh boy, what time?
2:45.
Forza Roma.
Let's go.
Vai, Roma.
Sure, Forza Roma.
All right. Good stuff, guys.